Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. In previous class we had discussed that why we are using gastroretentive drug delivery system, and in the same class we had discussed different approaches that can be utilized and different factors that are affecting the gastroretentive drug delivery system. We had also studied the potential drug candidates for the gastroretentive drug delivery system and the drugs that are not suitable to be converted into GRDDS. In today's class, we will be starting the types of gastroretentive drug delivery system. The first type that we are going to learn is floating drug delivery system. Floating drug delivery system is one of the important approaches to achieve gastric retention in order to obtain the sufficient drug bioavailability. The delivery system is desirable for drugs with an absorption window in the stomach or in the upper small intestine. This have a bulk density less than gastric fluids, and so they remain buoyant in the stomach without actually affecting the gastric emptying rate for a prolonged period of time, and the drug is released slowly as a desired rate from the system. After release of the drug, the residual system is emptied from the stomach. This actually results in an increased gastric retention time and a better control for the fluctuation in plasma drug concentration. The major requirements for the floating drug delivery systems are the floating drug delivery system should release the contents slowly so as to serve as a reservoir system. The floating drug delivery system must maintain the specific gravity lower than the gastric contents, that is 1.004 to 1.01 gram per centimeter cube. This system must form a cohesive gel barrier. The inherent low density can be provided by the entrapment of the air, for example hollow chambers, or it can be provided by the incorporation of low density molecules or materials, for example fatty materials or oils or foams or powders in the dosage form. There are different approaches which can be utilized to design the floating drug delivery system. The following approaches have been used for the design of the floating dosage forms of single and multiple unit systems. The good floating behavior of these single and multiple unit floating systems could be successfully combined with accurate control of the resulting drug release patterns. Single unit dosage forms are associated with problems such as sticking together or being obstructed in the gastrointestinal tract, which may produce irritation. On the other hand, multiple unit floating systems may be an alternative, attractive alternative, since they have been shown to reduce the inter and intra-subject availabilities in drug absorption, as well as to lower the possibility of dose dumping. For single unit dosage form, there is a possibility of dose dumping, in which if the dose is going to be released at a particular time once, it would actually cause the minimum toxic concentration, and it would create the adverse events of that particular drug. So the dose dumping could be avoided by utilizing multiple unit floating systems. There are various multiple unit floating systems which are available. For example, these systems that are like air compartment multiple unit systems, hollow microspheres, micro balloons. They are prepared by the emulsion solvent diffusion method. There are the microparticles which are based on low density foam powders. There are beads which are prepared by emulsion or gelatin method, and there are different mechanisms on which these systems can be prepared. All these examples of the multiple unit floating system can be distributed widely throughout the GIT. They provide the possibility of achieving a longer lasting and more reliable release of the drugs. Based on the mechanism of buoyancy, there are two distinct different technologies that are used to prepare these multiple unit floating systems. One is called as non-effervescent system or non-effervescent floating system, and the other is called as effervescent system or effervescent floating system. So let's discuss these two mechanisms in detail. The first one is non-effervescent floating system. In non-effervescent floating drug delivery system, the drug delivery systems are normally prepared from gel forming or highly soluble cellulose type hydrocolloids, or from the polysaccharides or matrix forming polymers like polyacrylates, polycarbonates, polystyrene and polymethacrylates. In one approach, the intimate mixing of drug with gel forming hydrochloride is done. That is, the drug is mixed with the gel forming hydrochloride, and that results in contact with the gastric fluid after oral administration, and maintain a relative integrity and shape and bulk density less than unity within the gastric environment. The air entrapped by the solvent polymers confers buoyancy to these dosage forms. So let's repeat what we are doing in non-effervescent system. We are mixing the drug with the gel forming hydrochloride and converting into a suitable dosage form. When this dosage form comes in contact with the GI fluids after oral administration, this floating dosage forms maintain a relative integrity and shape and a bulk density which is less than 1 or less than unity within the gastric environment. What is maintaining the buoyancy? The air entrapped by the solvent polymer confers the buoyancy to these dosage forms. That is, buoyancy means the floating tendency to the dosage forms. Excipients that are most commonly used in the floating drug delivery system, specifically in the non-effervescent drug delivery systems, include hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose, commonly called as HPMC, polyacrylates, polyvinyl acetate, carbopol, agar, sodium alginate, calcium chloride, polyethylene oxide, and polycarbonates. This floating drug delivery system of non-effervescent type can be divided into different subtypes as well. The first subtype is hydrodynamically balanced system. The second is microballoons or hollow microspheres, and third is alginate beads. These are the three types that we are going to study today. There are a lot many other types of this non-effervescent floating system, but we are focusing on these three types only for this particular lecture. So let's discuss each type in detail. Hydrodynamically balanced system. This system contains the drug with the gel forming hydrocolloids that are meant to remain buoyant on the stomach content. These are single unit dosage forms containing one or more gel forming hydrophilic polymers, and commonly used excipients that are used to develop these non-effervescent floating systems include HPMC, hydroxyethyl cellulose HEC, hydroxypropyl cellulose HPC, sodium carboxymethyl cellulose NaCMC, polycarbophyl polyacrylate, and polystyrene, agar, carrageenans, and alginic acid. The polymer is mixed with the drug, and it is usually administered in a hydrodynamically balanced system, which is mostly a capsule. The capsule shell dissolves in contact with water mixture, and it swells to form a gelatinous barrier, which imparts buoyancy to the dosage form in the gastric juice for a longer period of time. So what is happening? Polymer is mixed with the drug, and it is administered in the form of a capsule, which is actually a hydrodynamically balanced capsule. When this hydrodynamically balanced capsule comes in contact with water or the GI fluids, it swells to form a gelatinous barrier, and it dissolves. The mixture inside that capsule swells because of the polymers incorporated with the drug, and that imparts the buoyancy to the dosage unit, which is enclosed with or entrapped with that polymer. That buoyancy retains the drug in the gastric juice for a longer period of time. Because continuous erosion of the surface allows water penetration to the inner layers, the surface of this capsule and the polymers. The continuous erosion of these surfaces allows water penetration to the inner layers, thus maintaining the surface hydration and buoyancy to the dosage form. Incorporation of fatty excipients gives low density formulations, reducing the erosion and increasing the floating time. Effective drug deliveries depends on the balance of drug loading and the effect of polymer on its release profile. Microballoons in hollow microspheres. Microballoons or hollow microspheres are loaded with drugs in their polymer shell, and they are prepared by simple solvent evaporation or solvent diffusion methods. They prolong the gastric retention time of the dosage forms. So what happens in the preparation? First, an oil and water emulsion is prepared. Oil and water emulsion is then subjected to dichloromethane. Then a rapid diffusion of dichloromethane is carried out from this emulsion plus solvent system. Once the rapid diffusion of dichloromethane is started, the hollow spheres start preparing inside that oil and water emulsion complex. This hollow sphere further thickens and strengthens once the slow diffusion of ethanol is carried out. These two solvent systems are utilized along with oil and water emulsions in order to prepare the hollow microspheres. Once the complete ethanol diffusion is being done, the hollow microsphere results. This is the whole formulation of floating hollow microsphere or microballoon. The commonly used polymers to develop these hollow microsphere or hollow microballoon systems are polycarbonates, cellulose acetates, calcium alginate, Eudragid S, agar, and low methoxylated pectine. Buoyancy and drug release from dosage forms are dependent on the quantity of the polymers, the plasticizer to polymer ratio, and the solvent used for formulations. The microballoons that are floated continuously over the surface of an acidic dissolution media containing surfactant for around more than 12 hours. At present, hollow microspheres are considered to be one of the most promising buoyant systems because they combine the advantages of multiple unit systems and good floating systems. This single hollow microsphere can be utilized as a multiple unit floating system as well when the drug is loaded into multiples of hollow spheres and combinedly it is delivered as a multiple unit single dosage form. Alginate beads is another technique which is used to make the floating drug delivery system. A multiple unit floating system based on cross-linked beads is utilized for gastroretentive drug delivery system. They are made by using either calcium and low methoxylated pectine, which is mostly anionic polysaccharides, or they are made by calcium plus low methoxylated pectine and sodium alginate. In this approach, generally sodium alginate solution is dropped into the aqueous solution of calcium chloride, and that causes the precipitation of calcium alginate. An aqueous solution of calcium chloride is taken and sodium alginate solution is dropped into that solution of calcium chloride. What happens to the calcium chloride when sodium alginate reacts? It is converted into calcium alginate or precipitated into calcium alginate. These beads are then separated and dried by air convection or freeze drying methods, leading to the formulation of a porous system which can maintain a floating force for over 12 hours. These beads or alginate beads improve the gastric retention time more than 5.5 hours. Effervescent or gas generating system is another system which is used for the floating drug delivery system. Floatability can be achieved by generation of gas bubbles. These buoyant systems utilizes matrices that are prepared with swellable polymers such as polysaccharides, chitosan or effervescent compounds and these effervescent compounds include sodium bicarbonate, citric acid and tartaric acid. The optimal stoichiometric ratio of citric acid and sodium bicarbonate for gas generation is around 0.76:1. In this system, carbon dioxide is released and causes the formulation to float in the stomach. Here you can see the diagram of the floating drug delivery system. It is a core surrounded by a coat. This part is the conventional sustained release drug. This white part shows the effervescent layer and this outer part is the semi-permeable membrane. So what happens in the floating drug delivery system? When this is subjected to the GI fluids, water penetrates into this from this semi-permeable membrane. Once the penetration is done, the effervescent start generating, that is, the carbon dioxide is released from this hollow sphere or gas generating system. Once carbon dioxide is released, the drug starts diffusing into the surrounding spaces. The diffusion mechanism actually utilizes the same semi-permeable membrane which was used for the water penetration. There are other approaches and materials that have been reported for utilization in gastroretentive drug delivery system. Some of which are a mixture of sodium alginate and sodium bicarbonate, multiple unit floating dosage forms that generate gas or carbon dioxide when ingested can be prepared. The floating mini capsules with the core of sodium bicarbonate, lactose, and polyvinyl pyrrolidine coated with hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose can be prepared as a effervescent and gas generating floating system. And the floating system based on ion exchange resin technology can be utilized as gas generating system. Bilayer or multi-layer system has also been designed. Drugs and excipients can be formulated independently, and gas generating materials can be incorporated into any of the layers, like we had seen in the previous diagram. Drug and excipients were in the core region and the gas generating material was surrounded on the core. There are further modifications which involve the coating of the matrix with the polymer, which is permeable to water but not to carbon dioxide. The main difficulty of these formulation is finding a good compromise between elasticity, plasticity, and permeability of the polymers. So that's all from this lecture. In next class, we will be discussing about the bioadhesive or mucoadhesive drug delivery systems.